Hello everyone! Welcome to a new matches video. We're going to be going through Supply Line Grenadin, a deck that I eventually landed on after trying to do a bunch of different Supply Line token builds, and this one seems to be pretty good. This hand, however, is a little dicey. If we could get to 3 for sure to play Assembly Line, this hand's probably good, but I'm sure I can get a better one by just mulliganing. Yeah, and this hand is pretty solid. We'll just go with Quarry right away. Yeah, Crest of Impulse. Now it really wouldn't matter whether I start with which crest. I have 5 already. Let's bottom that. The odds that I'm going to draw a couple more power cards before 7 is pretty high. But I do want to be able to play Gearcruncher, because Gearcruncher is very good. Alright, we'll take the Devour. It will help us when we get to Scraptank, but we would really, really like to see some plays before then. This is an extremely slow hand right now. For an extremely fast matchup, it looks like. That's something that's at least a little bit helpful. Go ahead and Crest of Impulse. Assembly Line is perfectly fine. We can block both and then Devour one. Highland Sharpshooter. Nice. That's pretty good. Generally, we should be able to chump block for long enough that I think we're okay. We'll block here, block there. If they don't have flyers, Grenadin are pretty resistant to them just coming over the top of this. Like, they need flyers if they need Overwhelm. We can chump block for a really long time, and then eventually get enough value that it doesn't really matter. Like, eventually Scraptank then becomes a problem for them. Gearcruncher builds us back our board immediately. Supply Lines makes us a bunch of very, very large creatures. Things like that. We'll see if we can get there, though. Okay.
There are no
I was gonna say, I do not understand this pre-combat finest hour. Still doesn't quite make sense, although that's an actual problem. Sky Guide is pretty sick. I really want to get Vox, but I think I need the Scraptank first. I'm gonna wait. We can Vox next turn. I'd love to Supply Lines, but we don't really have the time yet. We're in a bit of trouble. I can certainly see us recovering from here, though. Again, if they don't have any big flyers besides this Helena Sky Guide, we're probably okay. Removal would be obnoxious, but we can certainly manage that. Yeah, this is fine. Crest of Chaos does get us to using Xenan Cylix, which is pretty sweet. We'll just sacrifice the 3-1. The big thing is that we're also gaining a bunch of life off of that. This gives us a ton of extra time. Vox, Nurturing Sadist number 2. That's interesting. I think we don't want that. That one's dicey, because if they kill this Vox, I'm going to feel bad about it, but we probably don't have enough fuel to actually power up 2 Voxes at a time. That is a pretty incredible unit to have everything land on off of Highland Sharpshooter. As in, 110% the best unit in their deck, easily.
Constant vigilance.
Yup. Wow. Yeah, easily the best thing they could have drawn there. That's so sick. Ugh. In the meantime, we will still do this, though. Because that doesn't have Overwhelm, it just has the Charge Warcry, yeah.
Finish them!
Man, that is so wild. I wish I could draw that well. I did just get rid of you. Unfortunate. Good news is, we have a board again. And they got this out of their market, right, from Anguish, so they don't actually have the Deep Forged Plate to give Overwhelm to their double damage, so that's good. I can still chump block for a minute. If we do that, I still have 5 Grenadin. Not both on the same. I still have 5 Grenadin this way. So we blow up the Sky Guide. And sacrifice some, maybe? I think this is okay. Our deck is just kind of obnoxious in that, like, how are you going to deal with this? Keep dealing with this. It's just gonna keep happening. Actually, Sparkcatcher first. Oh, we're only 6. I wish we had 7. I could Treasure Trove. I'm gonna check out, see what we got. Oh, that works out okay. I'm gonna let the Sky Guide live for now. Actually, I probably shouldn't have sacrificed the Sparkcatcher because of the supply line. In either case, I think we're good. This is pretty over. I get to keep the Sky Guide, but then I get to shoot it down. Yeah.
We learn much.
Death has arrived. It has indeed. And that's Grenadin, baby. It's an obnoxious deck. It can grind you down, or it can aggro you out. I really, really like this deck. It's always been one of my favorites, so any of the Grenadin lists that do the weird Gearcruncher, like, grindy stuff, it's just my style of play, and I've really liked Supply Line. It just looks so sick when you can get it off, so let's see how game number 2 goes. Ooh, game 2. We have a Quarry, we've got a Devour, so we can dig a ways. Double supply lines is extremely medium for this Grenadin list. I mean, like, just not having any units for the Devour is scary. Thing is that we do get to dig. We get to scout here, and then we get to Quarry. I don't think this is a good hand, necessarily. I'm kind of curious as to how a hand like this plays out. I was talking about this a little bit during the deck tech, but I'm using this particular time with this deck to do a lot of testing with it. And when I'm testing, I'll do a lot of this kind of thing where it's like, okay, this hand doesn't look great. This hand looks like it's got some problems. Does it, though? Like, it looks like it has them. I'm assuming it has them. But like, how good is my recovery for this kind of thing? Is this a fine kind of hand? And I mean, one game won't tell me that, but I can kind of play around with some things and try and figure it out. This is awkward. I think I need the Shadow Sigil. I don't love throwing away a Gearcruncher, but I am a long ways away from playing that Gearcruncher, and in the meantime, I need to actually be able to play Scraptank and then the supply lines. So
tempered by the hottest flame.
This certainly seems like the way to go. Also, I am not liking this matchup. We talked earlier in the last game about how we can just kind of stall out on the ground kind of forever. Not quite, but it's really hard for people to bust through our ground game. Like, it's ridiculous how long we can hold on in a lot of these games. But flyers, dragons, that's a different problem. That is a whole other issue, and I'm not excited about it. We do have Scraptank. They didn't manage to get a dragon yet. Maybe, if we're really lucky, we can wreck this Oni Forgesmith is what this one is? Oni Dragonsmith, of course. Before they can actually get their units down. I'm a little bit lax on some of the names. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the problem. I'm a little bit off on some of the names of the cards still again, because it's been a while since I've played regularly, so I keep on forgetting them. That's, Medias, Leyline Dragon. Heck of a card. Let's see what we can get. I think it's possible if they don't have units every turn kind of thing, we might be able to get into a position where even if it's units that we don't want to sacrifice, we can get rid of the dragon. It might have to be the Scraptank, but that might be a good decision. And they keep on top. Never a thing we want to see. Generally, I would guess that a dragon spell list like this is going to have a torch or something to get rid of. Torch, Seer, whatever they have. Blazing Salvo, Cinder Clutch. Yeah, get rid of the Vox. There we go. I know. If only Soul's Fury dealt 5. I feel like they could let Soul's Fury deal 5. That's maybe just me, but I've always felt that Soul's Fury would be fine if it was 5. Especially right about now. I'm feeling like especially right this exact moment, if Soul's Fury were 5, I wouldn't complain. I think it'd be alright. We'll just swing in with both. If they want to use a 1-1 and their 3-1, I'm cool with that. And I don't need it to block because we've got the assembly line. I am going to Devour it post-combat, because if there's a power card, I want to be playing it right now. We have a lot of depleted power in this deck. And I just want to be able to have my power hits coming in. Like, we need supply lines, Profane Nexus, Devour. These are all expensive cards. We've got a really expensive hand right now. And you know, I mean, right now, we're not out of this. It's not good. Medias is terrifying. But we have our own 11-11 cracking in. They need to do something about that. Now we can use the Profane Nexus also. I've got to be careful with that, because if I Profane Nexus and Devour, then we have a real problem. As long as I'm blocking here, which, I mean, I can't imagine I don't. They're holding back the dragons. With that, I think we've won this. This is real good for us. Like, I'm thinking that I just want to kill Eclipse Dragon because it seems like they've got some kind of removal for Scraptank. But I do also have the Devour. And Devour is just a pump spell at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and attack. Like, I might just supply lines this turn. If they use 3 cards to trade with this Scraptank, I might be okay with that happening. This is a very interesting game. I thought our opponent would definitely try and race us. Okay. So they decided not to attack, and they decided not to block. If I may offer a suggestion, don't do that. In fact, do we win? Deal 5. We can almost kill them. We are super close to killing them. I'll kill the dragon, it's fine. We could hit them for 6 with Profane Nexus and Soul Fury. Okay, they're gonna look for a dragon. Sure. It's gonna need to be a pretty good dragon. I think that their plan was to block this, but when I traded off that Grenadin, they didn't realize, and, like, they just mismathed it. They were counting on it being an 11-11 and not a 13-13. That's my guess here. Supply lines didn't really come into this game. I mean, it still might. This game could possibly go on for a while, but it doesn't look like it will. It's either going to turn on a dime against us, or we're going to win in a turn or two. Sure. I'm going to go ahead and do this. We're going to lose that anyways, but I might as well burn them for one. Combust is a bit dicey with what we have. You know what would be really rad, though, is if we windmill slammed a Gearcruncher. I'm really sad that we threw away that one, although I'm positive that was the correct choice. Do you have a way to deal with our unit? You do not, so Medias is chump blocking. And if we draw any unit, they're dead. Oh, they're just dead anyways. Okay, fair enough. They don't trust their hand to be good enough to beat us, and that is extremely fair. Alright, 2 for 2. This deck's going pretty good. The game went pretty good too. Well, well. This is certainly a hand for game 3. A hand we will not be keeping. Yikes. We do get to dig. If we get any units that are cheap enough, then Devour gets us somewhere. We could even, if we have to, Devour and Vox. As a second draw, I really, really, really hate going to 6. And I think I'm just going to keep this. However, we have to bottom anything that's not power, even if it's a really good card, like Profane Nexus. And our opponent keeps on top, which is unfortunate. We do get a power card. Not really a power card that we wanted. It didn't let us play Vox. It's not double red, but it's a power card. It gets us closer to Scraptank. I can't be super picky. A 6-drop. Perfect. We already have a 5-6-7, so now we have a 5-6-6-7, just in case.
Embrace the nightmare.
So I have a plan. We're gonna attack. If they block... Wow, brave.
Salvation.
I'll just do this so that they don't actually get the value off of it. As much as I hate losing Vox like that, I desperately need to find something beyond just Vox.
One shot, one kill.
Alright.
Nurture the shadows. Salvation.
It's awkward, but okay, oh, just kind of threw me there for a second. I was going to say it's awkward that we're sacrificing important cards like Vox, but also I think that that's a really necessary way to play a game like this, or like a deck like this in general, is that all of your units are expendable. Everything is expendable. Because eventually we'll get enough Gearcruncher type stuff, like we get enough fuel for that fire that we can make it out the other side. This is, boy, this is a lot. Interesting they didn't just fight it. And now we can sacrifice it, I suppose, and kill the Cindermaw. We're still in a lot of trouble here. Just a really, really awful start for us. And hey, it happens. We're not fully dead yet, though. We still have options. If we can get some power cards here, maybe Gearcruncher can do something. Gearcruncher is super weak right now, considering how few units we've had. But, I mean, if Stonescar Scrapper lives, too... Ugh. That's just such a value train for them.
These parts could be worth something.
Okay. It's not a power card, but at least it's fuel for the Scrapper. Yeah, the problem there is, do they just have instant removal for it? If they do, we're in trouble. I mean, we're in trouble anyways. This is just really bad for us. But if Scrapper dies here, then we're certainly dead. Yeah, this is going to be really hard.
A great find.
Probably impossible. Our luck didn't hold out forever. Drawing that double supply lines was certainly the nail in the coffin. And that's 12 damage, so we're dead. GG. Ooh, rematch. We're against Danilo again. So, once again, we're fighting against dragons. There's a lot of dragons going around right now for some reason. At least I'm assuming they're on the same deck. That's definitely going to be one of our weaker matchups. Flyers are always a problem for Grenadin. Gonna bottom that. We have enough power cards for now. Gearcruncher is so far away. The odds that we don't find any power cards by then is just too low. Alright. Assembly line is good. Next turn, I'd like to Sparkhatcher Combust kill this, though. We do not want them getting that off for cheap. It might be a bad idea. This might be too early. Ice Bolt their own unit. Yeah, they really needed it. Okay. It does misfire on us a bit, because they do manage to get off the extra power that they needed anyway. But, you know... Really? Well, we're pretty good against equipment, because it can only just kill 1/1s here. I mean, we did get rid of a removal spell, so I'm not super unhappy with the way things went there. Draw Stonescar banner. What if they have a way to wipe our board? Does that change it? Not really. I both need more power cards and also really just want to find, like, A, time for supply lines, and B, something like Scraptank instead. Profane Nexus can dig us down and can find us other power cards, like it'll get to Last Rites and Devour can both get us there. Well, I always try and do the Devour first if I can, but I can't, because that's Crimson Firemaw, it needs to go away. Otherwise, we lose this, so... Might as well deal with that now. Probably going for the depleted Power Sigil if we don't draw a power card here. Or we just lose it, and that's a problem. Yep, Eclipse Dragon's a problem. That's interesting. So do I want to try and play supply lines here, and then go for Gearcruncher and just win off of that? I think I might. We have a lot of health. They don't have a lot of cards left. Which is really bad if their last card is like a Medias. It is not. What are the cards they have in hand? It might just be a bunch of power cards that they're just holding. I think they'd maybe play one. Ah. Alright, we're just gonna get BM'd. For some reason? Sure. Darn, I thought we were having a pretty decent, fun game, but I guess not. I guess they're real mad. They're big mad that they lost to us when they have an incredibly favored matchup last time, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why they're upset and blah-ha-ha-ha-ing us.
A great find.
Sadly, it's been fun coming back to Eternal and playing card games again, but one thing that I haven't missed is just how much toxicity there is in the Eternal community, because it's pretty bad. Unfortunate to get the second Gearcruncher. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. We'll let them play this out and have their fun. They seem very invested in winning this game, apparently.
A great find.
Yeah, so they're just gonna time down on us on purpose to try and waste as much of our time as possible. People are wild. Yeah. Okay. This is incredible. I'm curious as to where this goes. I'm not sure that I understand what the point of this is. Okay. I mean, we did know that we were dead. I'm glad they had their fun, I guess. Here we go for the finals. No fire at all. Let's redraw. This deck has been performing pretty well. Like, we even took a game off of one of our worst matchups, and we're seeing just so many dragons today. I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen this many in a while, but if we were seeing a few less flyers, I think we'd have a much better record, too. There we go. I mean, and, like, we can deal with some flyers. We've got the Combusts. We've got things to deal with it, but it's just... Ugh, dragons is very fast, too. This one's actually a toughie. So we've got Vox or Devour. Devour is really good if we can just draw any other unit. Voxes are like, okay, we need anything to combust in case they have a really good start here with something that we need to deal with. Because Devour has the problem of just like, if we don't draw any units... this one's really tough. I mean, Vox buys us a little bit of time for Combusts, but then we might just still get stuck again. I think I Devour. We have a lot of units to draw in this deck. I'm gonna hope that we just get lucky enough and hit one. Some really weak opening hands here. I maybe should have gone to 6 with this one. Double Combust, Stonescar Scrapper is... kind of abject misery. You get to scout a lot, though. Now I have to keep that Vox, which we probably sacrifice to Devour. Again, not excited about that, but I will take the guaranteed hit here off of the Vox.
I nurture the shadows.
And I can play a Time Sigil here first, actually. Because now this is undepleted anyways, and what happens if we just draw 2 Shadow in a row? I'm gonna block, and then I think I still just Devour.
Salvation.
Oh? This is counter, we're actually in trouble. That would have been really bad for us.
There are no secrets.
Sky Guide. So we could Assembly Line Combust the Sky Guide. That would also stop this from coming in. Huh. And we'd be able to play Crest the Chaos first. As much as we want Scraptank down to get the value off of these sacrifices, we can do that next turn. Play Scraptank and have Combust up. And in the meantime, we just stabilize perfectly. By the way, I just want to, after that last game, because I'm sure that you all noticed that that was an interesting opponent, I do want to shout out that, hey, there are still really cool people in the game, too, because I've played against Monkey Lovin' a lot, and they always seem really chill. They seem very nice, at least. I don't have to Combust that, because this way I can play Crest of Chaos, and then Xenan Cylix gives me extra card draw. I think I'm gonna do that. Maybe they board wipe us, and then I'm very sad. We're pretty resilient to board wipes for the most part. If we can get a Gearcruncher, we just recover from it immediately, but you know, I don't have a Gearcruncher in hand, that's for sure. Yeah, alright, this is almost certainly just wipe board.
Anyone else?
Oh, they don't Oh no, did Monkey Lovin' not realize that Grenadins don't care at all if we lose Grenadins? Like, that's kind of the point of Grenadins. Grenadins don't care. I'll throw away all of my units. Watch me, I'll sacrifice this 11-11 at some point. There's a reasonable chance I do it. And now we're off to the races. Just desserts? Omri's choice. Okay. I mean, I still have an 11-11 though. Doesn't grow anymore, but that's okay. Not a lot of things that can be. I'm still just gonna go ahead and kill it. I mean, we've got these combusts. What am I gonna do? Not use them? Ah! I Awakened Master. And no power card. We will start attacking, though. We want to end this game quickly. Like, this is one of the things this deck has a bit of an issue with. It takes a while to close out a game. In general, you're not super worried, because honestly, they're probably not going to be able to beat us in the meantime.
Another one.
But it's not great to give your opponent extra draws to get out of a problem. And with something like supply lines, we can close down a game a little bit faster. Just go ahead and sacrifice these. I think I leave back the Stonescar Scrapper. I want to be able to block Tiresias? Terius? And we can Spark Hatcher. And just go ahead and Devour again. Nice! Now we've got supply lines, and that's almost certainly the game. I mean, as if Gearcruncher 11-11 Scraptank Grenadin drone, like, on-board Stonescar Scrapper wasn't already. But, yeah, this'll end things in a hurry. So we're gonna supply lines. I could Vox Grenadin drone and just make them sacrifice. I think that's actually better than drawing more cards now. And that's right, I'll sacrifice a 3-3 to trade for your 3-3 Aegis. I have so many units, I don't care.
Bested.
That's the cool thing about this deck, is you get to start sacrificing, aw, beans, even really big units. Yeah, I'm fine with that. The funny thing is with Profane Nexus in this deck, that's something I should have actually talked about a little bit, is that when you're doing the agenda, you don't care about Albrecht. Albrecht, you generally just sacrifice it to things like the Stonescar Scrapper or Vox itself already. You just want to get rid of them. You don't care about them in the slightest. Okay, I should be attacking first. Like, Albrecht, you don't actually want to be sacrificing things just to Albrecht. You just want to use this as, like, Devour and Last Rites, maybe a Soul's Fury. And then if you're lucky enough to be able to do things after that with it, like, that's cool. You generally want it to be like, okay, my opponent's going to spend some time dealing with this because they're worried about it. And it just buys me more time to get down to Stonescar Scrappers and Scraptanks and Gearcrunchers. Actually letting it get all the way to Albrecht is not worth sacrificing almost anything for.
Anyone else?
Like, a lot of the times, I won't bother chump blocking with a 1/1 Grenadin. Like I said, there are still some very cool people inside of Eternal. I feel like Monkey Lovin' is one of them. God, I apologize for what I'm doing to you, Monkey Lovin'. I like you. Anyways, taste death.
Bested.
And goodbye. I mean, we already said you fight with courage. We don't want to start spamming it. In any case, that's a little taste of how the Grenadin deck works, and Supply Line is really, really nice in there. We didn't get to see too much from it, but I have had so many very fun games of Supply Line directly into Gearcruncher, and that just insta-scoop. It's super, super fun to do. And I would really suggest trying out this deck. If you've got ideas for things to put on it, I mentioned this in the deck tech about it. I feel like this deck isn't 100% done. I'm doing a lot of testing on it right now. It's one of the reasons why it doesn't have a market. I'm kind of liking to control for variables, so I don't like to have a whole bunch of extra things going on. And having a market when I don't have all the info on how I want this deck to perform in the current meta, I think is actually a detriment. It's also really hard to squish a market in here, but if you have some spins on this deck, I would love to hear them. Also, you now get to see my horrible sin if you've only come in for the matches and not the deck tech, which is that I started this deck doing Torrent of Spiders because then I could name it Supply Spider Economics, and I went away from that for, you know, making a better deck, which I apologize for. In any case, thank you for being here. We'll be going with another Eternal deck tech next week, I think. And, yeah, you can check out some of the roguelike videos I'm doing as well. I'm going to try and get some builds going in different roguelikes that I really enjoy. Maybe do some runs for the channel also. And, of course, you can always check me out on Twitch. Thank you for being here. See you soon.